Grand Rapids African American Museum and Archives reveals plans to move to a new location in Grand Rapids. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Laster here from the Wood TV Live Desk, ladies and gentlemen. Joining me is the founder and director of the museum, George Bayard. George, good afternoon. Thanks for taking some time. It's nice to see you. How are you today?
I'm great, Luke. How about you?
Doing well, doing well. So a much anticipated move here. How good does it feel to put that news out there and finally get the wheels turning here on this milestone for you guys?
Well, it's been a long journey for us. And actually, when I say long journey, it actually hasn't been a long journey, because when you think about the National Museum at the Smithsonian, it took 100 years for it to be up and running. And even in Detroit, Charles Wright Museum took about 60 years for it to come up and to where it is now. So it's taken us 7 years, which is a fairly short period of time when you compare it to some other museums. But for us, it was a long journey, because in that period of time, we must have looked at 100 buildings, literally every building in town that was empty, we looked at. And, it was just the Lord who kept guiding us, saying, wait, I got something better. And lo and behold, we did find what we consider the perfect place. That building is a former medical building over on State Street, 245 State Street. And it just fits all the criteria that we had when we were looking for new space. Of course, more room was one of the things that we really wanted, and that building is about 10 times the size of our building.
Huge building.
Now. And another was parking. We have our own parking lot in that building, which makes it much easier on our patrons to come and visit. And then just a camaraderie with the neighborhood or the area where we move. And in that area, we have the Museum High School, we have the City Archives, we have the Grand Rapids Public Museum Archives. So all of that plays into our move and why it's such a great opportunity for us.
Tell me about that journey a little bit. You mentioned that you just looked at all these buildings. When you stepped foot into this one, did you know immediately this is the place?
Well, actually, every building that we looked at, we thought this is going to be the place. We considered building a building. We considered leasing other spaces, some larger than this space, some smaller than this space. We were going to buy land and build our own building. But it just kind of happened out of the blue. We were looking at a building, and I'll be honest with you, there some people we looked at who looked at us. I guess they really didn't want an African American museum in their area, because they kind of reneged on the sale in a couple cases. But this building we thought was just a perfect fit for us. I mean, it's going to take some renovation. I mean, as I said, it was a medical building that had cubicles and offices and exam rooms. So there's definitely going to be some renovation that has to be done to turn it into a museum. But for us, it was the best we could do. A number of our board members kind of rode by the building, and just in their mind just said, oh, that building's open now. I wonder what the terms are. And a few people saw it on our board all at the same time. And so it was kind of another signal that this might be a great place to try and move the museum. We thought, we didn't know until we actually started signing our paperwork, that the museum, technically that building is not in the downtown area. I mean, it's actually on the edge of Heritage Hill. We didn't really know that, but for us, it's still, only a stone's throw from downtown, and it's close enough that we still consider it downtown, because we really like it down here. We would still be in this building if it was larger, but we really wanted to have our own building. And that was part of the journey too. As I said, we could have leased a larger space any place. We could have rented a larger place any place. But part of our board's challenge to us was to own a building. And so this starts our process to purchase the building, and it'll always be in the hands of the African American Museum and Archives. And so that was one of the criteria, I think, that even not really slowed us down, but we were real careful about where we were looking, because we knew that this hopefully will be in our possession for 50, 60, 70 years, and until we outgrow it.
So obviously a huge upgrade just in terms of sheer size. Do you plan to have that entire building go towards the African American Museum and Archives, or will it be split? Will you have some other displays, or will it be used for other things, or will it strictly be all museum?
Well, we will we'll have a variety of different things in the building. We look at kind of in general, or maybe our first floor being a reception type area, a lobby, huge lobby. It will have exhibits and displays, but it'll be our open space that we'll be able to use and convert with, seating for movies or lectures or events, receptions, weddings, funerals. We expect to have that as our community space, and that will be still maybe 3 or 4 times the size we have now. The way we looked at it, we could probably seat maybe 500 people in there without tables, and then with tables, maybe about 375 or something like that. But, it really depends. We plan to have not only seating for that many people, but we should have a portable stage there so that different performance groups can come and do plays or poetry raps or, any kind of a event that will take a stage. So that's what we plan. And also on that first floor, we will expand our gift shop. Our gift shop now is just a small room. In this building, the gift shop will be about the size of our whole museum now. We also will be bringing along We Are Lit books, the bookshop that is now located here inside our museum. And then we'll have room for maybe 3 other vendors on that first floor. The second floor will be all museum space. Half of it will be devoted to local history. The other half will be devoted to changing history or changing exhibits. We also will have a full art gallery there that will have changing exhibits and permanent exhibits, and then some other storage spaces and utilities. And then on the last floor, the top floor, we plan to have that as our archives and research center. So we will have all the books. We've had over 1,000 books donated to us. So we'll have books, computers, people will be able to do genealogy searches. Other scholars will be able to come in and learn things about Grand Rapids. And because we have a great connection with the public museum, we may be able to share files as far as artifacts that they have and artifacts that we have. So it'll be our research area. We'll also have a recording studio up there. And then we'll have room for 6 or 7 separate offices that community groups can come in. We've already got 3 who want to get offices there to lease out or rent out for their own purposes, and shared conference room and snack room and things like that. And then my office will be up there too. So we'll have that. And the big thing about the building also, as I said, is the parking lot. We have spaces for 70 cars, which includes school buses, if we have to have school buses in. But it also in the future, if we ever have to expand, will give us plenty of room to expand if we have to do that too. So once we own the property, own the building, we can just about dictate whatever we want to do.
You had mentioned when this news broke that there's a capital campaign starting for $5.3 million for purchasing and renovations, things along those lines. Where does that stand as of today?
As of today, it hasn't officially kicked off, but we have already received some dollars. Not a lot yet because people don't really know about it, and we're still setting up the accounts. We'd like to be able to first start a charter membership campaign as part of the capital campaign, where individuals can donate a certain amount, and their name then becomes permanently on our donor wall. The details of that have not been completely worked out yet, and we're still waiting to get account information from our bank before we go ahead with that. But I'm thinking that's going to be some time toward the end of the week. You would be able to go onto our website or onto our Facebook page and either one and donate there. Even if you don't want to go for the charter membership, we've got a number of different ways that people can donate. They can do that now, but our main focus will be to try and raise the bulk of it through our connections with the local foundations, local corporations, and some individuals who have volunteered that they were going to donate when the time came. So we're just starting. And so one of the things that we do know, even after just starting, is that the 5.3 is kind of the bare bones one. Once our board gets to putting in the bells and whistles, it will most likely be a little higher than that. But what we want is to have a museum that that reflects the people here, that also tells the stories of people here, and is entertaining. One of the watchwords for museums is the museum experience. And when you go into our museum, we want people to have an experience and not just read texts on a wall or look in a cabinet and look at an artifact. We want to try to make things interactive and make them relive some of the things that people have told us about telling the history of Grand Rapids with African Americans here.
George, we appreciate you taking the time here this afternoon. Is there anything else that you'd like to put out there regarding this move?
Not really. It's just like our theme. We're moving on up. When I drove by it, I could see the building, and then I heard the Jefferson's theme in my head, and so we've kind of adopted that. We're moving on up because we literally are moving on up to the southeast side, and it's something that we think the city actually deserves. We are the second largest city in the state, and really 2,000 square feet where we are is not enough room to tell the story of African Americans here in Grand Rapids. So we're hoping that this building will become the start of new explorations, new stories. We've already got people who were at a fair on Saturday with the symphony, and people were just coming up to us with, I have these artifacts, or how can I get my name on the record book there? And so we know that there's a lot of these stories here still in Grand Rapids that we haven't even touched the surface with. So for us, it's a start, and it's an upward start, and this will get done. So I'm very confident.
Again, we appreciate your time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you head over to woodtv.com, there's a link attached to this stream. It'll take you over. If you tuned in halfway through our conversation, or maybe are just tuning in right now, you'll be able to see the full conversation there. Here, George, again, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a look at the Wood TV Live Desk. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Laster. Have a great afternoon, folks.